I want to show you what Sompo is saying that they're working on. All right. There's a couple things back here that Sompo says they're working on. It says Sompo, remember, this is the company, the financial company, this big old Japanese company backing the WEF. I'm not sure if they're an actual financial company or an investment company, but there are a lot of links between this company, a lot of companies, this is just one of them, and the World Economic Forum and where the money is moving. It says Sompo is working to develop roadmaps for its business to generate greater economic value, to ensure that they create social value. Puts the social right into socialism, doesn't it, folks? Sompo has entered the nursing care business. The nursing care business as an investment in the future to help solve the social challenges of a rapidly aging society. Oh, you don't got to worry about grandma anymore. Sompo's determined to reform elder care and nursing homes, which in turn is going to bring greater happiness to society as a whole, because you won't have to deal with your dying, parents or grandparents anymore. Because why do we need a family that takes care of each other? That would be a family that talks to each other, that would eventually think that something is wrong, which would lead to an uprising, which, would lead to the government killing a bunch of people, which is what always happens in socialism. It says Sompo's determined to reform elder care and nursing homes. What do you think Sompo is going to do to the dead bodies of your relatives and loved ones if you're not paying attention? Sompo and the World Economic Forum and all of these crying, bleeding liberals and these world global elites, they're always being and emming about, oh, we have to save the planet. Oh, we have to solve world hunger. Well, I saw a movie once about how a company like Sompo solved world hunger. I had a very famous actor named Charlton Heston, and he said, Charlton Heston, excuse me, and he said, Soylent Green. It's people. It's people. Soylent Green is people. It's people. It's people. Listen, they're going to grind up mama, dada, grandma, and grandpa, Grammy, pappy, and mammy and daddy, and the little doggy too. And they're going to put them into little green chips, and you can go, this is a tasty grandma. That's what's going to happen. Look. Obviously, I'm full of it. I'm making that up. I'm not saying that I hope I'm not actually. I'm holding up, if you're listening and not watching, I'm holding up a Red Bull because I'm about to take a sip of it. But I'm trying to cover the words because I don't want people to think I'm advertising for them. And I also don't want to get sued by Red Bull. Red Bull's going to sue me. They're going to be like, James Lane, you don't represent the views, values, and culture of Red Bull. Here at Red Bull, we whip heterosexual males until they, become part of the LGBT ally experience. Folks. Sompo is on a mission of being, and this is a direct quote. This is a direct quote right here. It says, a theme park. A theme park. A theme park for security, health, and well-being. They aim to contribute to the happiness of people, society, and the planet. A theme park. A theme park of your security. Trade your rights for our version of security, freedom, and happiness. Sompo is a theme park for modern day slavery, ladies and gentlemen. That's what Sompo is. All right. It reminds me of Brondo. It's what plants crave. So, look, I've got this other article here. And it's from the World Economic Forum. And it says, to build back better. Sound familiar? To build back better, we must reinvent capitalism. Oh, look, it sounds like the same exact article, but written by someone else. Who wrote this one? Peter Bakar, the president and CEO for the World Business Council for Sustainable Development. Do you see where we're going so far, my friend? Do you see what you and I are talking about? All right. I hope you're in the closet or in the garage or in your car listening to this. I hope you're watching on your cell phone at the break room at work, because people might think you're crazy. Okay, my ear is so itchy. Oh my gosh. That's the beauty of a live broadcast. I had to scratch my ear so bad for like the last 10 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I had to break my stride there. I had to break my flow, but I was about to take this green pen and literally start stabbing myself in the earlobe. Well, not the earlobe, the ear hole, right in the ear hole. That's how bad that itched. The pandemic has brought into focus many of the vulnerabilities in our systems and institutions. This guy, Peter Bakar, he's the CEO of the World Business Council for Sustainable Development. Did you also notice that in the last couple of years, all of a sudden, all these job positions are appearing? The Sustainable Development Business Council leader position. My job got a diversity and inclusion executive, some schmuck that's making 200,000 plus 300, 400,000 a year, plus probably $1 million bonus, right? To literally sit there and be a racist, to be a racist. They're not actually focusing on actual equality, actual diversity, the beauty of getting people from different places and different cultures together to put their crap aside and get a project done. That's some beautiful stuff. But to sit there and have a kumbaya fest and whine about our feelings, no, that's not diversity and inclusion. You're wasting my time at work, telling me to stop working to do a 2-hour meeting about your feelings. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. They echo each other, folks. The World Economic Forum, Sompo, all of these. Is Sompo? What the? I already forgot the name. Sompo. It is Sompo. It's Sompo, excuse me. P-O, company out of Japan. Companies like Sompo, right? Companies want to reinvent capitalism. It's not just Sompo. It's hundreds of companies across the country. Hundreds and hundreds of companies want to reinvent capitalism. All right. And it's not because they don't want to make money. It's because this ideology has flowed all the way up to the leadership positions of these companies. They didn't just learn it. They've been doing this for 60 years. Remember, these websites, they say the World Economic, the OECD, they all say 60 years, 50 years. They've been around for decades. Right when the CEOs of these companies were going to school. That's some crazy stuff. Some crazy stuff. I just want to read one thing out of this. I'm not reading this whole article to you, but there's a section in here from the World Economic Forum called Future-Proofing Capitalism. All right. I told you in the beginning of this episode, Joe Biden didn't create Build Back Better. Build Back Better has been the plan sitting up. It's like when they say that they're going to build a highway through the town and nobody knows about it. And then they build the highway and they destroy everybody's normal commute. And you go, what the heck, man? Why didn't you tell me about this highway? Why didn't you tell me about this bypass, this on-ramp you were building, whatever it is? And they say, oh, the plan's been on display at the local city center for the last 6 months. And it's down 7 floors in the basement under a special, you got to put like a stone from Indiana Jones in and, fight some ethereal skeleton warrior, put the gems in the right place, get the crystal skulls together, and maybe, just maybe, you'll get to see what's happening. Build Back Better has been sitting there in the shadows the whole time. Joe Biden was told to do Build Back Better. He was handed Build Back Better. The global elite said, Joey boy, this is how we're changing the world, and you're going to be our puppet for the United States. And these other people, they'll be puppets for their country as well. This says, are you ready? Straight from the World Economic Forum. All right, don't quote me. I'm quoting them. If we don't seize this opportunity to build back better, key point, to reset and reinvent rather than return to normal, reset and reinvent, no returning to normal. Systemic risks, see that word, systemic, critical race theories pop in your head right there, and vulnerabilities will continue to accumulate, making future shocks both more likely and more dangerous. Despite the tragedy, we must leverage the COVID-19 pandemic. Never let a good tragedy, a good crisis, a good incident go to waste. We need to make sure that it becomes the catalyst for a profoundly positive transformation of the global economy. Worldwide takeover, folks, taking us closer to a world in which everyone can live well within planetary boundaries. Everyone can live well within planetary boundaries. Positive transformation. That's woke talk, folks. That's woke speak. Positive, sustainability, transformation. Socialism. All right. This is socialism. They want to reinvent the United States and other democratic countries in the Western world, because the evolved Westerners, we could do socialism better. We won't end up killing 100 million people in the 21st century. No, that couldn't happen at all. That always happens. That always happens. But even though some of the lower level pawns, they believe that, and even the CEOs of some of these companies believe that, the greater higher ups, the elites, the folks that hang out with the Jeffrey Epsteins of the world, the folks that launder the money, the Hunter Bidens, that meet with the Russian diplomats that receive the $1 million from the Moscow mayors, the people like that, they just want to go back to the party. And they can't go back to the party until the door is completely shut back on you. And it will never, ever be shut again unless they completely destroy our system. And in case you don't believe me, here are some places where they've tested socialism and it hasn't worked. China, lots and lots and lots of people died there. The Soviet Union, lots and lots and lots of people died there. I'm going to Greta Thunberg you with this. I'm just going to go blah, 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 because you can Google this yourself. Well, try not to use Google. Try to DuckDuckGo it. The North Koreans, starving to death in the 90s, kind of came back starving to death again. Not a great place. Cuba. There's a reason why people come to Florida from Cuba. They all want to get away from the suffering, because socialism always ends with suffering. In fact, people cannot live a perfect world. They cannot. If I remember correctly, somewhere in Genesis in the Old Testament, after Adam and Eve eat the apple from the tree of knowledge, or the fruit, or whatever you want to call it, and after all that stuff happens, God curses them, I believe. If I remember correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong, all right? I don't read every day. I do believe, but I don't read every day. But listen, he says that humans are going to be cursed to a life of like toil, trial, tribulation, hard work, effort, purpose, meaning something. And if we don't toil, we don't go through a struggle, we don't work hard, we'll never be happy. That's the actual pathway to happiness. Hard work towards some sort of destiny, towards something that you're doing to make your life mean something. But what's life mean to the 33% of people under 30 that only want socialism? I'm going to give you a quote from The Matrix before we move to the next section, because I think it's very fitting. It's so fitting that I stapled it to the back of this here, and I circled it with a red pen. That is just how important I found it. It's got the red circle, and it's from Agent Smith. And it's from the scene, if I remember correctly, this is from the scene where he was torturing Morpheus, where he was trying to break into his mind, and he decided to tell him the truth about what the robots, if you remember correctly from The Matrix, it's all about they're living in the virtual reality world when in fact, the real world has been destroyed, all right? And they're dealing with these robots, and these robots created this perfect world for us. And this is what Agent Smith, one of these robots, these rogue computer programs, had to say. He said, "Did you know that the first Matrix was designed to be a perfect human world where none suffered, where everyone would be happy? It was a disaster. No one would accept the program. Entire crops were lost. Some believed we lacked the programming language to describe your perfect world. But I believe that, as a species, human beings define their reality through suffering and misery. The perfect world was a dream that your primitive cerebrum kept trying to wake up from, which is why the Matrix was redesigned to this, the peak of our civilization." Ladies and gentlemen, it's very, very important that you heed those words, even though they're from a movie. Humans, all right, human beings do not survive in a perfect environment, in a perfect world. Look how insane The people that don't need anything are. The well-off celebrities, the rich celebrities that have all the attention, that have everything they need. Look how out of their mind they are. We can't even comprehend the logic that they use to make their decisions. We can't even comprehend it because it doesn't exist. And all the while, they think we're the crazy ones. They're floating around thinking that they're holier than thou. But they don't even understand the same level of thinking. They don't even understand where we're coming from because they don't follow, like I've said in previous episodes, the same core values. They don't follow the same life. They live in their own genre, their own subset of existence, and they don't relate to us. They don't understand normal people, the millions and millions and millions of Americans that just want to feed their families, work hard, and feel good about themselves. Maybe do something one day that brings them a little bit of purpose and happiness. Maybe get to a retirement and pay for their kids to do something really good. Maybe see them succeed and do better. Or maybe build that boat one day. Just something that gives their life some little iota of meaning. And you sit there atop your throne with nothing, with no meaning. And you judge us, and you look down your nose at us. So no, the perfect world doesn't exist. And your perfect world is just about to come crashing down. Woo! That was a good one, huh? That was a good segment, folks. That's the end of segment 1. I got to get a sip of this. I really mean that. I mean everything I put there. Bullet pointed down, talked about, read in the articles. There's connections, all right? There's connections. They give away their plans. You're going to see it. You're going to see it in the next section. The Democrats always show their hand, before they play it. They always do. They're like bad guys. All right, they're like bad guys from the Austin Powers movie. Austin Powers, yes. Before I kill you with these sharks with laser beams, let me reveal my entire evil, diabolical plan to you over the next 2 years and 47 days, 36 minutes and 27 seconds, which should give you more than enough time to escape. The whole, if we're smart, all right, let me back up. If we're smart, will take heed of the Democrats' version of Back to the Future's Gray's Sports Almanac. We'll call it Gray's Political Sports Almanac 2021 through 2024. And I mean it. I really mean it. They put this stuff out there. They really do. All right. Biden sits there. He sits there. He talks in his speech. And he goes, oh, the World Economic Forum said this. All right. And the OECD, they said that. And we got to jump because they are the leading experts. They are the ones in control. They have the best ideas. They have the best plans. They really do, don't they? No, they don't. Because they're all into socialism. They're all into wokeness, critical race theory. When you go onto the OECD's website, they talk about inclusion, diversity, being a team member for the LGBT communities. And you know what that actually means? Isn't that you're fine with the LGBT folks doing their own thing? I'm fine with everybody having their own community and culture. You want to live in peace? Kumbaya. Kumbaya. All right. But when you tell me I can't be myself anymore, I can't have my culture, and my friends can't have their culture, and that black guy can't have his culture, and that Asian girl can't have her culture. We all must believe in your culture, your inclusive alphabet mafia, garbage world elite culture where you want to destroy genders, destroy schools, destroy everything. You've already destroyed most of it. I don't want to live in that world. I refuse to live in that world, and the majority of people refuse to live in that world. It's a world that's being shoved down our throats by the hundreds and thousands of rich elites that fund these companies all around the world. These woke companies are going to be the destruction of our species. All right? They are. But this is the whole point of segment 2. This is the whole point. If we know the future, if we know what's coming, if the Democrats are telling us what they plan, can't we stop it? Don't you think if we had the gray sports almanac from Back to the Future 2, not only could we win the lotto, maybe we could stop a war, maybe we could stop a controversy, a fight, maybe we could stop people from losing their homes, their families, from this horrible crash that's on its way. All of these things, we could probably stop it. But more people need to pay attention. More people need to pay attention to this left-wing crystal ball that they've given us. They always brag. They always look down their nose at us. They look at us like peasants. They think we're idiots. They think that we're unevolved. They think that we're cavemen and women. Why? Because we don't live in cities all the time? Because not all of us want to take public transportation everywhere? Maybe some of us live 10 miles from the next town, not 10 feet from the next town. Maybe some people don't have neighbors for 10 miles, not neighbors 10 feet away. You know, there isn't a one-size-fits-all thing for everybody in this country. This country's beautiful because it's split into so many different places, people, regions, cultures. There's something for everybody. They don't want that, though. They don't want that at all. Just a random thought, by the way. People that believe in aliens out there. What if gray aliens were us from the future trying to figure out how to save our species from this moment right now, when everybody decided to become this one world, new world order, crazy freaking group, right? This whole great reset group where everybody's got to live under the same code. We all got to be the same pretty color of gray. Genders don't exist anymore. Kind of sounds like a gray space alien to me. I don't know. I just thinking about it just randomly came to my head, but it could be a thing. Crazier things have happened. If you told me that Godzilla came out of the ocean and attacked Tokyo, I might believe you. 2021 has been strange.